Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another speed build because, I went crazy with the building there for a while and I still am to a certain extent. But, this is the, remaining build that I was talking about that I built around the same time as the, Koi Cottage and the Cozy Leaf Home. So this is the other one that I was mentioning that I had been working on, which I'm pretty sure I have called it Modern Family Oasis because I did build it in Oasis Springs. And this is one of the house styles that I'm at least pretty sure I know pretty well at this point. It is a more modern style build. So, I haven't actually built one like exactly full on modern before. I did decorate one within a collab where someone built the first half of it and then I did the interior. So other than that, I really haven't had like a more modern looking build that I've done myself. So this was sort of the first time doing it. Except for technically Cassie's dream home, I guess, would actually class in modern if I had to say any of them. I definitely say it's more on the modern style. So technically, I guess this is actually the second one, but I definitely really liked how it turned out. Again, I did take a few things of inspiration from some houses that I sort of looked up online, as well as like inspiration from some random sims that I sort of chose, but I did also decide not only did I take the style of those two sims that I was mentioning, but I also decided to sort of choose a color that I was going to try to focus on, which was yellow, because that is a color that I don't really deal with too often or too much. So that was sort of one of my focus colors in this build, and like with the Cozy Leaf Home, it was almost more towards greens because I did have that sort of flowery plant sort of vibe going on for those. So, and those are two colors that I don't deal with too much with home building, and honestly yellow in general, I don't deal with the color yellow much in basically a lot of things. So it was definitely a little bit different using those colors, and in this build using yellow, but I do really like how it turned out. I feel like the yellow doesn't really show up any on the outside, it's the yellow shows up on the inside, but I think it's sort of with the outside looking all black and white basically for the most part, and then you get inside and there's like these random pops of yellow places here and there. There still is some places that I don't include yellow too much, or it's only subtly using yellow. So I think that's definitely really interesting. Now, one of the rooms I didn't actually use yellow with because I decided, like, technically, not every room in the house is going to look exactly the same. One, if you have multiple people living in a house, and particularly if you have a couple living in the house, chances are some rooms are going to be a mix of both. Like, a lot of the rooms are going to be a mix of both styles, but some rooms may be more heavily influenced by one person's style, while others are more influenced by another's. So there are a few rooms here and there that don't really use the yellow, and I think the study is the main room that doesn't use the yellow, and it actually uses a lot of other colors. And then the master bedroom, I sort of tried to incorporate more colors than yellow because that's sort of like the merge of the two styles. So, but yeah, I hope you actually do end up liking how it looks. This is, of course, going to be up on the gallery for you to download once this video goes live, which my origin ID is Artistic Gamer 7, and like I said, I'm almost like 99% sure this is called Modern Family Oasis. Modern Family Oasis. So, it will be over there for you to download and do whatever you want. It has no CC in it. For the most part, I will not try to do builds with CC. If you've watched any of my previous builds, you've probably heard me mention it. If I do use CC, it usually means that I'm remaking someone's house that's already in my main series, like remodeling it, or I'm having to use the build right away for like a recording purpose, which means that, I need it exactly the way I want it before I start recording. And I do use CC in my actual, like, recordings and like my personal game and things like that, just because I think a lot of CC actually helps add some style to the houses and to the builds and things like that that you can't get from just the stuff that you get from the game and the expansion packs. I mean, as they add more and more expansion packs, it's becoming easier and easier to show off individual styles and different like personalities and things like that with the items that they have, but it's still not like the easiest thing, especially depending on the style that you're going for, sort of, or the look that you're going for, the type of sim that is living there. So just adding CC helps me a lot better, and particularly in the clutter department, I feel like there's not enough clutter items. Like I want. Would it be weird to have like a stuff pack, but that is nothing but like clutter items? So like maybe you have like one functional item, because they normally have like one functional item and then a bunch of clutter items that revolve around whatever that function may be, and then just a bunch of random clutter items, and then that's the rest of it. You don't have too many of the other stuff. You don't really have tables or chairs or all that stuff. It's just clutter. Because I want more clutter items. Because I like clutter. I think clutter helps the feel of the house be more personal. It feels more personalized to the Sims who are living there. So more clutter items would make me so much happier and stuff. So hopefully, maybe eventually we'll have more clutter items. But we'll just have to see how that goes. So, but otherwise, I will not be building in CC. A lot of these homes I do actually plan on trying to use at some point in time. Whether it's in one of my challenge saves or in my main save, I'm not really sure, but I do want to try to use them eventually, so they will eventually be CC-ified. And if y'all would like to actually like see like how it turns out after I add CC to them, please let me know. Maybe I could find a way to do like a quick video, or maybe add like a video of screenshots while I just sort of talk about why I added the CC items, or if you have a suggestion on how you would like me to see it, maybe just give a tour of it like I do like with some of my collab videos. Something along those lines. Just, let me know, and I definitely would do it, because I'm gonna CC them anyway, so if y'all making a video to show off of it wouldn't be too hard to do, since I'm already gonna be doing, like, the harder part, which is actually putting all the CC items in. I will, of course, like I mentioned in the last speed build, I will have links to the sites that I mainly mainly go to for my CC, and if there's ever any individual items that you ever see in any of my videos that you really, really like, tell me the timestamp and sort of describe the item and be like, do you know where you got this? And I'll definitely try to figure out and try to look, and if I can actually find the actual exact link, I definitely will also include the link for you. So that's always an option that you can have. But back onto this build. So, this build is definitely a little bit different. It's definitely more bright. I purposely made the lights as bright as they could, which I used a little trick that Hip Hip Renee told me when she was watching a live stream that I did, which I know I haven't got back to doing live streams. I do eventually plan on bringing those back, but I actually recently just had an interview and they already offered me the job, so I gotta see like how that entails. It's in retail again, so retail is ever changing, and I know that I probably won't necessarily have a set schedule, but sort of seeing, I don't know exactly how many hours I'm going to be working. It is supposed to be full-time basically, but I think full-time technically is like 35 to 40 or 38 to 40 hours, so I have no idea exactly how much I'm going to be working and all that stuff, so I gotta wait and see how all that entails to sort of figure out what I'm gonna do with my live streams. My best guess is I may have to move them to Sundays, because where it would be, I wouldn't be working after 6 or 7 on Sunday for sure every single time, until like holiday season. So that's the one day that I can guarantee that I would have like evenings, nights free, or even mornings. So maybe that I have to move it to Sunday, but like I said, I'm gonna wait for that. But she did show me like a little trick of getting those flat lights and putting them over top of a existing, like the lights that you actually are using. Because especially in particular for screenshots, I mean, sometimes I do use just those lights by themselves, but sometimes that sort of fits the room, but sometimes it doesn't fit the room. And when you're taking screenshots, you usually see at least part of the light hanging down, and it's sort of part of the room, and it goes with the room, the style of the room. But I did want this to sort of be very bright, especially since I did choose the color yellow to be one of the main colors. I sort of think of yellow as like a very sunny, bright, happy color. Very, I mean, lightning is one of those things that comes into mind. Electric, you know, those are sun, electricity, all those things. They're very, very bright. And that's sort of what the color yellow to me thinks. So I did purposely try to make this house really, really light when it comes to like the lighting and stuff. So I did try to add as much lighting as I could to try to make it as bright as possible. And again, I didn't actually take putting the lights out this time, or the wallpaper, or any of the bathrooms or anything, because again, this video actually, even though this one's actually bigger than the Cozy Leaf Home, I took about the same amount of time, if not less maybe, of building this one. I think with the Cozy Leaf Home, because of the deck and things like that, and some of the details I put into it, or some of the deciding factors sort of took me a while to figure things out. I think I sort of had a pretty good direction going into this one, a little bit more than I did in that one. But, so this house, talking about like the layout of this house to get down to it, does have 2 floors, and then I ended up adding a basement. I tend to like adding basements. I like the thought of a basement, because a basement isn't, like, it could be basically anything if you have like a basement that's been finished, as they say it, because you can have an unfinished basement, which means that it's usually not good to actually make them into actual rooms. Maybe you can put them in a storage thing, but there's so many endless possibilities with basements, because sometimes you can make them be about something that is like guest focused, like a party area, but a lot of times, you know, you can make basements be like, most guests won't go down in the basement, so you can do whatever you want with it. You can have it as your storage area, your laundry area, your personal gym, your art studio, whatever it may be. You can sort of do a lot with them. And thinking about sort of the style of the home, and like where I again picked 2 random Sims and sort of based them off of them. Turns out though they both have very, very individual styles. One thing that they had in common is they are more athletic-y Sims, so I was like, well, I need to put a gym. So that was my decision behind the gym, and I like that it's actually in the basement. Also, again, I didn't have my laundry area, so I put a laundry room down here as well. So that's where basically that's, for the most part, that's all that is down in the basement. It's the laundry storage sort of area, and the gym / spa area. There is a bathroom down here as well, I believe. Yes, that's a spot that a bathroom's about to go into. And I'm pretty sure I didn't forget to actually record or do the bathrooms this time around, unlike I did last time, where I absolutely completely forgot to do the bathrooms like an idiot. So, but I'm like pretty sure that I actually remember to do the bathrooms, and I do the bathrooms. Also, I realized when doing this house that I hadn't put my little robo vacuum cleaner in any of the builds that I've done recently, and I love that thing. Whether you have pets or not, I just like knowing that it's running around, and it doesn't actually clean as much as I wish it would. But honestly, unless you have pets, your Sims don't usually make huge messes in the floor that a vacuum cleaner can suck up. They can't do anything with puddles, they can't do anything with the laundry, and if they drop a plate or a cup in the floor, they can't do anything like that. The only thing they pick up is like trash piles, hairballs, those sort of type of things. So I feel like the pets contribute to the mess that the vacuums clean up the most, which, I mean, it came with cats and dogs, so that makes sense. So, but I like them, and I didn't put them in any of my previous builds, but they come back in this build. There's one on every floor, and they're all that little golden yellow color to sort of stick with the theme, because, you know, your vacuum has to be the theme of the theme color of your house. But I mean, it just happened to work out that way. So Um, but yeah, there's nothing really too special with the rooms that are down in the basement. They're literally like, they're basically what I said, a gym, spa, laundry area. There's not anything super special. I did wanted to make sure that I put like the mirrors everywhere for the gym, because a lot of gyms have a lot of mirrors and things like that. Or, you know, if you're actually trying, I guess I don't really get the purpose of it. Of course, I've never been to an actual gym except for like maybe twice in my life. If you count the gyms that are in hotels, I've sort of been in them, but I got in them to walk through them to go to the pool. And I was in a gym that was connected to a pool, and we slightly was at the gym and sort of did some stuff, but then we went to the pool. And then there was another one that I went there with my mom because she was in like the Weight Watchers program, and I wasn't too young, but I wasn't like super old either. I don't remember fully why I went. There was a reason why I went, or like I had to go or something. I don't remember exactly. But they allowed them to bring their kids, and they allowed them because it wasn't they did those on like specific nights, and I actually got to go walk over into the gym section of where it was. That's my experiences with gyms. So, but I do know they typically do have like mirrors somewhere in them a lot of the times, and I don't know if that's just, you know, to watch your form and try to improve on your form, or what is the reason behind that. Any of y'all who go to gyms quite often or sort of know more about gyms, let me know why a lot of gyms have like quite a few mirrors, or at least in a section of the gym they have quite a few mirrors. Is it so that you can watch your form and try to improve on it? Is that why? Because that's what I feel like it is. I could be wrong, but I feel like it is. But anyway, so that's the basement. Simple, not really big, but then you go to the main floor, which is... The main floor and the upper floor is about the same size, but I'd actually say technically the upper floor is a little bit bigger, which may sound strange, but it's because the balconies actually overhang over the downstairs area, which once you see me actually decorating, you may have already noticed it in the build, the way it was. You'll see that they're actually hanging over, which is one of the features I really actually liked about this house, was those balconies hanged over. But in the main floor section, there is, of course, like a little entryway, which has the stairs that lead upstairs. The stairs that lead upstairs. How many times can you say stairs? And also it has a bathroom, I think. Well, I know it has a bathroom, but I was trying to think, did it have a second bathroom? I think there's only one bathroom on the main floor. And then, because I think there's a bathroom per floor, except for the second floor technically has two because of the master. But then there is the kitchen and the dining room area, and then there is a study area, and then there is a living room area. With the kitchen, which, if I'm keeping up with this video and I don't have to pause it for any certain reason or backtrack, you've already seen me sort of build the kitchen, which it is mostly black and white. The appliances is what adds that little touch of yellow. I didn't want to go overly crazy with the yellow in the kitchen and like dining area, because I didn't think that was a good place for that yellow. I think Jungle Adventure's appliances have a really that's actually a pretty yellow, and they have those yellow stoves, but I wasn't feeling it. I was feeling that like more paler yellow that it was a fridge. Either it was a fridge that you had to unlock for a certain reason, or I can't remember. It's either a part of a pack or you had to unlock it, I think. I could be totally wrong about that. But memory-wise, I think it was one of those two. But it had like a goldish yellow. I think it was supposed to be like more of a gold, but it was like a yellow gold, like a really strong yellow gold. But it was paler, and I thought it looked better in the kitchen. It wasn't as like in your face. And a lot of the appliances had like... There was a lot of appliances that matched with that fridge. So that's how I sort of incorporated the yellow there, but I still kept it with more of the black and white, which is sort of that modern sort of color feel to it in that room. And then in the dining room, I think the yellow is mainly added through like the paintings and the pots and things like that. And the dining room is just simply has a table, and then like a table that you sit and eat at, and then a side table that is... My purpose for that is like if there's holidays or something like that, you can decorate them for the holidays. I didn't decorate this house for any special holidays, even if I used some of the season decorations. I used the ones that technically you could actually possibly see or think of people actually using just year round, or when they're just not decorated for a specific season. So, but that was sort of my intentions of that little side table that I think it's in like a little cubby way. And then the study, which is the room that I originally was telling you about, has the one that has the more colors in it. So it's sort of, I wanted at least a few rooms to have like representation of not yellow, and it definitely fits for the two random Sims that I got, because one of them is a very, very colorful Sims, one of the random ones I picked. So you can imagine this room was decorated by that particular person. So, you know, you got basically all the colors that are everything but yellow. Which I thought it actually, like, I don't normally put like a lot of colors together too often. Hey, there is technically some yellow coming into this room actually, as I'm watching it with the paintings and stuff like that. So I do still include some yellow in there. So it's still some yellow, but definitely don't put like a whole lot of colors in together at once, usually in like builds and stuff like that, and like in decorating rooms. But I thought it really, really worked for this room. Like the walls were sort of very plain, simple, pale, but then you just have these pops of like other colors, these blues, these orange, these reds, yellows, and I think it really, really, really actually was really cool. And usually the studies I go for a very neutral tone, so it was definitely different for me to do a study that wasn't actually neutral tone. So that was really, really nice and really pretty, that I thought the way it turned out. Also, the bathroom, it's just a simple bathroom. The bathrooms to me, they're just, you know, they're a bathroom. That's what they are. I do put little accents of yellow, I think, when I did the bathroom, but for the most part, I mean, it's a bathroom. It was black and white for the most part. I don't find the bathrooms as interesting to show or talk about, but I did leave them in. Like I said, I didn't cut anything out except for the parts where I got like completely zoned out and started watching like TV or something like that. So also, to get down to the basement actually is in that study area as well. That's another thing to sort of note. Also, at one point in the study, I don't know if you noticed it, I found out that the high chairs can actually connect to the desk, and I thought that was hilarious for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I get, like, they're supposed to snap to tables if you want to have the toddler sitting at the dinner table with everyone else, but I found it really funny that it snapped to a desk table. So I was like, yeah, you're really gonna have the toddler sit there and, on the computer and do whatever. But anyway, that was just a random funny side note that I ran into. But onto the living room. There's also a hallway. Not that it's really important. Hallway that connects the rooms together. But anyway, the living room is sort of separated into, it's a whole entire room, but I use like those little dividers I think that came with City Living to sort of divide like the sort of fireplace sitting area where you just sit and chat, and then the actual area where you watch TV. And I probably used yellow in there just a little bit more, but I still brought a little bit of the blue in with the paintings. So it's still sort of getting a mix of some colors, but I actually really like that room. It's actually pretty simple compared to what I usually do for some builds. And originally I was like trying to figure out where I was going to put the bar. I was like, do I put it in the dining room like I usually do? Because the dining room's usually the dining room or kitchen is usually my number one place I put a bar at. And then I was like, well, no. The living room? No, I don't have room. So the bar is actually outside, which of course is connected to the living room. So I thought it was fitting. In Oasis Springs, it doesn't snow or rain like a whole lot. So granted, if you put this house in another place, just keep in mind that the bar and some entertainment features are outside. It may not work year-round in some places as well as you would like, but for it being in Oasis Springs, I was like, it's not gonna snow, really. It's not gonna rain much. At least I haven't seen it rain in Oasis Springs. I don't really think I've seen it rain once. But my Forgotten Family's the only two families that I currently play in Oasis Springs, and I haven't played summer there yet, so I don't know if they get thunderstorms like a lot of the other places. I'll eventually see, because I am going to be recording the Forgotten series really, really soon, so I'll see whether or not it storms and rains and stuff during summer in Oasis Springs, but I have a feeling it doesn't. I have a feeling Oasis Springs in the summer is horrible for heat. Like, someone like me would probably die, because I'm not well with the heat. But, so, anyway, I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter if there's a roof or anything covering it, because that section that is, like, sort of like a porch and also has that thing sort of over top of it actually isn't covered, because that's just like a decorative piece, sort of, basically. There's no roof or anything on it covering it, so if there was rain or anything, you would get wet sitting at the bar, but the chances are I don't think it really rains much. I did eventually, actually I think the bar accidentally gets covered because I really wanted to put a hot tub somewhere. And I was like, I'll put it on the master bedroom's balcony because I thought that was fitting. So I had to expand it so that I could fit the hot tub on there the way that I wanted to. So I just seen that. So technically I think the bar does get covered up eventually. So maybe you can stand out there and sit out there at the bar when it's raining. I highly suggest not out there when it's a blizzard though. So there's that. Of course, there you seen there was the pool. There was sort of basically activities to do outside was out there, just outside activities. I didn't include planting or anything like that because just using two random Sims, it didn't really fit them so well. So I was like, we're not gonna worry about that too much. So let's worry about on like sort of the active sports and things like that because I think that would fit better. And even though, these two Sims would possibly maybe never live in this house, but it just helps my inspiration flow to have something to base it off of. So, that's how it works. But anyway, on to the upstairs section, which I think I've already started working on. This is the first time that I think the video is going faster than me talking about it, so that's definitely different. So, upstairs there is 4 bedrooms. There's the master bathroom and then 3 bedrooms that can be guest or a child's bedroom. In this case, they all would belong to technically children. So there is like my impression was like a teenage girl's room who's like very preppy, very, very girly, hence the pink sort of everywhere. And then there's like a little boy's room who's sort of maybe into sports, but it looks like they're leaning more towards like, like void critters and things like that, which in my interpretation is Pokemon for The Sims. So, they're more getting into those things at their current stage. They do seem to like action movies and things like that. Like, there is some active influence on the boy, but not a lot. But, I mean, the girls' room definitely is, though, super, super girly, like, makeup and stuff everywhere. I tried to get... Also, I forgot that I was intending to make it pet-friendly, because I wanted to put cats, so you might see me start putting, like, cat, like, food bowls and litter boxes and stuff places, like, trying to figure out, like, let me somehow include this animal in here that I meant to include from the very beginning. So... when I really, like, sort of remembered that that was one of the things that I wanted to do for this build, I was working in the, like, the room that I'm basically saying the preppy, girly teenagers room. And so I was like, you know what, maybe the cat belongs to her, so that I didn't have to change a whole lot about it. So I put a lot of the cat stuff around that room, so that it's more like, that person is the main caretaker of the cat, but the cat still roams around the house. And this also, a big reason why I also sort of would say that it's like the teenager or basically the oldest is because they also get their own balcony, which to me would make sense. If you have a house, I know sometimes, like, depending on family situations, sometimes you have to do strange things to get everyone to fit in or things work. But me personally, like, unless the oldest child is okay with having a smaller room, I feel like they're the ones who deserve, like, the bigger room. Not just because, they are the oldest. It's the fact that technically by then they're probably, like, have a lot of friends at that point, and not only themselves, like, have different interests and hobbies, but also just, like, human speaking, no matter your, like, body type, a teenager weighs and is bigger than a child. So, you need more room usually as you get older just because, you're becoming a more individual person. You're starting to have sort of your own style and your own taste, but, your room's going to get a little bit cluttered. It's not going to be as big. I remember when I was little, the room that I'm currently in was actually my older sister's room. And when I was little, I used to think this room, she had a bunch of giant furniture versus my furniture that I've chose is a little bit smaller, and I've put it as much against the wall as I can so that I can have open room in the middle for if I have friends over. But it used to seem this room used to seem so much bigger to me. I remember when I was little, I loved this room. I thought it was so much bigger and so much just everything. And now that I'm living in it as I'm older, it's not really that big. So, giving the oldest child in the house, I think makes the most sense to give them the biggest room, or the room that has like maybe a little extra, like a bathroom attached to it or a balcony attached to it. So, they get the special separate balcony there, and then there is like a little nursery room so that if, maybe they already have a baby, or maybe they're planning on having another baby, and then, of course, there is the master bedroom and the master bath, and basically, I guess the master balcony is what you would call it, because the only way to access it is through the master bedroom. So, I did sort of keep with the yellow there, because, I'd imagine since yellow is my main theme color, I imagine that would be one of the adults, like the parents or whatever, who's decided that yellow is one of the main themes, realistically speaking. So yeah, the kids' rooms, especially if they start becoming a child or a teenager, they might not start showing having that color scheme in them, because they're starting to have their own personality. They're like, I don't want yellow on my walls or anything like that. I want blue. I want pink. I want purple. Whatever it may be. Whatever color, you want starting to have a different style versus when you're little. I mean, when I was little, my very first room was pink and flowers. It eventually evolved into cheetahs / safari. And now, at this point in time, it's black, red, and purple. So, well, attempting to be black, red, and purple, I should say. So, your style changes over time. So, the teenage, when you're kids, and the littler you are, the more influenced by your parents' styles. Then as you get older, your style starts to become your own thing. So, I did leave, some yellow in the nursery, and then the master bathroom had the yellow, because those are two rooms that I feel like are influenced by the oldest people in the house, the parents or the parent, whatever it may be. So they kept the yellow, but I did try to throw in a few more colors again to show two different styles sort of merging together. And the master bathroom is, it's not actually huge compared to what I did. There's a towel thing that I put beside the bathtub that I moved from one wall to another wall, because I keep deciding I wanted some sort of art looking piece in there, and I couldn't decide which wall I wanted on, where I wanted on, what it was. So I kept moving the stuff sort of around on the walls. So there was that. But the landscaping stuff, I did get to that to the last again, which is weird. I usually do the landscaping first. And with Oasis Springs, I had to be a little bit different. And I wasn't actually... I think it looks good, and I think it looks fine for Oasis Springs, but I'm used to doing it for all the other places, which are a lot more greener. Their plant life is a little bit more livelier. It just so happens where I chose to put this home is one of the few places that actually has grass actually growing around on the lots and around nearby places. So there is more plants in this section, so I was able to do a little bit more, but it was still a little bit different for me to do that. So that was definitely a little bit strange for me to actually decorate this place with plants and to try to make it look like someone may have done it, but it also sort of naturally fits for the area. But we're getting to the end here, and the screenshot should be coming up so that you can see just the final overall build and all of it come together. I hope you really, really like this build. I actually love this build, and I think this one and the Koi Cottage are my two favorites out of the three that I have built recently. So definitely super excited with it and happy with it. I hope you are too. If you are, hit that lovely like button and subscribe if you're not already to see future builds or whatever I may do. Also share the video so that others may enjoy it. Tell me what is your favorite part of this build, your favorite room, or maybe it's just a specific thing in a room. Like, let me know, or if, like, you know, whatever, just want to chit chat, that's fine as well. I will be having more builds after this. Like I said, I'm sort of in a building mode, but I'm focusing on recording a few other things currently right now instead of building. And also I'm sort of trying to go on like some big giant recording spree because I am going to be going in this job and I don't know how it's going to work out and how it's going to do. So some changes may be coming to the channel soon. I'll have a vlog sort of discussing all of that a little bit later. Or I may have already put it out at this point because I don't know exactly when I'm uploading this video because I haven't actually uploaded the Cozy Leaf Home yet either. But, you know, whatever. But all of my social media will be down in the description below, so you can go follow me on those and keep up with other things going on as well. Also, all of my Sims 4 playlists will be down there in the description below as well with those CC sites that I was talking about. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. So, bye-bye for now.